Hi everyone, Lisa here with IVF Manifesting a Miracle, and I'm really excited to introduce you to a friend of mine who's based here in Colorado. She's my guest for our Soul Sister conversation today. This is Mandy Straight. Hi, Mandy.
Hi.
So Mandy is a friend of mine I've known for a few years here in Denver, and I first got connected to you, Mandy, I think through your Food for Thought series. That was like way back when, and you hosted with another friend of ours some really amazing talks. And you've evolved, I've evolved, we've grown into different roles, and you are kind of like my guru for like design, for just I love the way you dress. Your what does your mom call you? I loved it on your website, the colorful shape of the family.
Yeah, yeah.
So like you're always in heels and like edgy clothes, and I love the blue hair. And so today's talk is all about kind of designing our life, but like focus more on the environment and exterior to really help our interior. Can you share a little bit about like who you are? I know you have many different kind of roles you do as, certified in neuro-linguistic programming and interior designer, a TED speaker, lots of great things you do.
Yeah, yeah. We were just talking a second ago. I really think they all fit under the umbrella of ontology, which is really the study of being. And for me, it's like, how do I do it better? How do I be better? How do I help other people be better? And that looks different for everyone. And so I've done interior design for almost 20 years. That is so weird to say. And I've been doing NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, for about I've been in the realm of it for 3 years. And that really what NLP is neuroplasticity work. So we're using how our brain works already to change how we see the world, how we understand the world, and how we experience it, to be more what we want it to be. When things aren't working for us, how do we change them? And it's so, in life, it's so wonderful how our life path sort of goes toward something, like one thing, and everything starts to add in together. And I'm in the process of that happening, of getting into this neuroplasticity work and realizing that's how I've been doing interior design the whole time. And that really my goal in doing design and in working with people in their spaces is to help them live a life that makes them happier. And I definitely touch on that in my TED Talk of how do we use our space to make our life a better place to live every day.
No, it's beautiful. I mean, the visual mantra, the idea of the visual mantra, and I want everyone to go check it out because it's a really good talk. And we agree on that. Getting the visuals in front of you, we create our life by what we're seeing, what we're living,
Yeah, and really, if this last year has taught us anything, it's that we really don't have control over much, right? But some of the things we do have control over are the spaces that surround us that are ours, whatever that means in this moment. So I can shift how my space feels, even if I can't shift what's happening in the world around me. And even to your audience, like even if I can't necessarily shift right immediately into being mother or having those things that I want to have in life, I can remind myself that this is in my future. And really, in many ways, convince myself that this is my current state. And that's where the magic happens of manifesting, which you well know.
Yeah, thank you. No, you're the person I wanted to reach out to because I think more than ever, we are spending so much time in our homes. We all are. And we want to enhance this environment, make it as cozy and warm and inviting as possible. For a lot of women going through fertility treatments, there's often the feeling of there's not a lot I can control. They feel kind of powerless in a lot of ways. I've ridden this ride. I took back the power and I was aware of like my environment was one piece where I could take back that power. Can you speak a little bit on kind of the importance of one's environment, how we can choose and actively be, kind of harnessing that power within to create, build our lives?
Yeah. I think that the first thing really is, so often interior design is seen as a luxury. And in my mind, it's so much an essential. And I'm not, that doesn't mean you need to work with someone to do it. This can be, you can use free things, you can shift what you have. It's not about spending money and it's not about hiring me to do it. It's about understanding that it's essential that your space is supporting you to be a better person. And better meaning whoever it is you want to be that makes you feel good. So having your space be a reminder, if you go watch my TED Talk, visual mantra is all about, we create mantras. The entire reason to have a mantra is to keep our focus on something that's important to us. When meditating, you have a mantra so that you don't let your mind wander, right? And so in life, having a visual mantra is something that we set up around us in the spaces around us, and we're feeding our brain that information really on a passive level. I like to think of it as passive visual income. So you're setting up the system so that it's feeding you even when you don't pay attention to it.
That's awesome. Like a vision board, but in your environment, like.
Exactly.
Yeah. So as far as, I really believe in finding joy in this journey in the fertility space. I know you haven't gone through fertility struggles yourself, and be grateful that you haven't had to deal with any of that. But really finding joy in our lives, really it goes for anybody, but it's just so important to do those things that light us up, that bring us joy. And it could be the littlest things, a soft, cozy blanket, a beautiful picture of art, some lighting, whatever it is. Can you share kind of any of your reflections on just the importance of really nurturing ourselves, surrounding ourselves with these beautiful things that make us feel good?
Yeah, and you're right. I have not gone through IVF. I don't know that struggle. I do know the struggle of depression and not feeling like my world is working for me, and really feeling like I'm working against that. So that is something that's very familiar to me and possibly influential on me going down this life path. Who knows? And so really what's important is, like you said earlier, understanding that there are parts of our life that we can control. And also, one thing that's really important, I mean, we're talking about spaces. One thing that's really important is to make space for the things that we want in our lives. And that's physical, that's mental, that's spiritual, emotional, all of it. So how is it that we can make space, empty space, so that we're saying to the universe, I have this space ready to be filled for this thing that I want it to be filled by.
I love that. And I talk about that.
So I think it's important in design not to just fill it up and say like, oh, I'm just gonna put more stuff in there. Like make a space and say, hey, I'm opening this universe, and I'm like ready for you to come fill something in right there.
Being intentional, right? Yeah. Right. A lot of women, I know there's sadness around, say, an empty baby room, right? And I'm all about when you're out and about and you see something that lights you up that you want to give to your future baby one day, buy those lit things. Like I bought a little frame, I bought this special little night light. There are different things that I was buying along the journey that I was saving to put in that space, and getting in that vibration, right, of what we're trying to draw into our life. You're right. It's like allowing and receiving and being open. I mean, create your home environment before like your womb environment almost, right? It's like,
yeah, I mean, there's a reason pregnant women nest, right? And there's, you're signaling to your body and all of your mentality and the universe, here, I'm making space for this thing. Yeah.
I'm just having flashbacks of our dog, our first dog with our little one. Like he would just lounge in the little recliner with me, looking at the crib, like waiting for the baby to come. And this is so sweet, like he was ready too. He was making space, like I'm ready to watch with my little brother, little sister, whoever it is. But
yeah, and it's so important. I mean, that's a Feng Shui principle, and not that I'm not certified in Feng Shui. I've read quite a bit about it. But really creating, like if you're looking for a partner and you only have one nightstand in your bedroom, you're not telling the universe that you have space for this person. So just in the same way, how are you like inserting space for a child in your life and saying, oh yeah, I've already made space for this, I'm ready the minute it comes. And there's something amazing too about, I think so often, we all know hindsight is 2020. It's really easy to look backward and say, oh, these things helped me, or I needed these things. And I think a lot of times looking forward at a problem, it looks really big and we can't see around it. And the best way to start seeing around it is to act like it's already happening. Because once our brain is convinced, our unconscious brain, this is neuroplasticity stuff, our unconscious brain doesn't actually know the difference between truth and not truth. Yeah. It's so convincing it that something is true, your unconscious brain is like, oh, okay, cool, that's true. So telling it that that's real already in your
Exactly.
surroundings is so important. And that's not just for making space for the child, but for making you happy. Just like what you said, the best way that you can be ready to have a child is to be like a willing, ready
Yeah.
person to be ushering that in, right? So make yourself as happy as possible with everything that you can in your environment.
Like these frequencies, this antenna, right? Like sending out signals. Like, what are we drawing to us? We're always manifesting, right? All the time. It's either moving us in a feel good direction or a not so great feel good direction. So if you're in this like, just kind of place of not feeling nurtured, fulfilled in your environment, like we can change that by
Yeah, and I love. Mhm.
eliminating. Sorry, go ahead. I was just saying, eliminating clutter is one. I'm always
Oh my
working on.
gosh, for real. That is so powerful. That is so powerful. Letting go of the past things so that there's room for the future is so important, and one that is like does not come easily to me. But oh my gosh, it changes everything.
I'm like working on
And
that myself. I hang on to things like way too long. I really do.
yep, yep, me too. If you do human design, that's even in my chart, and I was like, wow, I need to work on that. Okay.
Human design. What are you? What type are you?
I'm an emotional manifester.
I'm a man
Yep.
reader. Go figure, right?
Yeah, getting stuff done real quick.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, with the clutter, I think that's important for people to recognize, like, how can we lighten the load on this journey? And our external environment can be one area to like bring in more lightness, right? And there's so much heaviness. We're going through fertility treatments. I mean, gosh, the amount of medications we're taking, the shots, the amount of money we're putting into this, it's very emotionally, physically, spiritually kind of draining. And so the environment can just enhance us. It can really be something simple, yet really powerful.
Yeah, it can be so simple. And I think it's important to remember like having your body I like I like that you said the word nourish, because having a space that nourishes you is really important. And then also bringing things into your space that remind you that you are already a nurturer,
Yeah,
right? Like remind your body, hey, look, I'm already ready for this role that I'm trying to take on here. I'm already doing it. So how do you nurture in your life? How are you already doing that? And then how can you do it to yourself? Using your space. And that can happen on so many levels. We want to speak to all five of our senses. Like, how do you nurture yourself with what you smell when you walk in the house? How do you nurture yourself and make it really easy to put on music that sounds amazing, or whatever it is that you want? That's a question I ask my design clients, is if your home was perfect, and maybe not realistically, what would you hear when you walk in your home at the end of a long day, or when you wake up in the morning? And how can you make your space feel like that?
totally. No, I feel like I write about this in my book and Hold On Baby, because it's like these senses. And that's where being an OT, it's like I draw in from that background, because it's so important to tune into all these senses, the smells, the sounds, the feel, the texture. I mean, through a blanket, through warmth, what we wear on our body. I mean, that's whole nother. I've talked to Lisa Sharp, her. So I did a whole
Oh God, I
search
love her.
hair on
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
But you're my design gal. So the environment, how can we enhance visually what we're looking at? I was big at putting mantras up, visual mantras like you, having those phrases and things in my view. And one of them was always expect something wonderful to happen. And that was constantly the mindset I was using as I was going through this. So I would have that up on my refrigerator. You can frame something that speaks to you, that you're always seeing, always being reminded of. Yeah, but you're so right. Like the sounds, calming music. I invite my clients to like tap into the music they used to love. And how can we enhance our spaces?
Yeah, exactly. And really, when I have clients make visual mantra boards, the first board that they make doesn't have anything to do with the home. They're not pinning boards of rooms. They're not pinning sofas or pillows. They're pinning images that make them feel the way they want to feel in their home. And it's so important to start there, because that's really the vision. Why are we picking a sofa? Why are we picking a pillow in the first place? We're only choosing them to help us feel the way that we want to feel. So if we can make a board, the vision, I mean, you're doing it with your vision boards already. How is that? What is that feeling that you can get really clear on? And then when you make decisions, you're like, does this pillow feel like my visual mantra board? No, not so. Oh, okay, I don't need it.
You're right, 100%. That's what I talk about. It's one of the big secrets to manifesting is tapping into the feeling. It's all about the feeling. And I have to share this quote of yours on your website. It's, I don't care what your sofa looks like. I want to find one that makes your life happier every day. That's perfect. It's like, totally. Who cares about what it looks like? Does it make you feel good?
Exactly. Why are we doing it? No, we're not doing, I mean, okay, most of us aren't doing this to be a show home. That's not why anybody would hire me as okay, somebody might, but most people are not going to hire me as a designer to be a show home. It's so that you have a home that's happy to live in and like really lights you up as a person. And I always like to say, reminds you who you are and reminds you who you're becoming. And it's so important that it feeds both of those pieces of you, and really of everyone else you're sharing the space with.
Have you always kind of had this in you, understanding the importance of environment, interior design? What do you say? Internal design and interior design. I like that.
Yeah.
Internal,
Yeah.
interior.
Yeah. Internal, interior. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to find words too. I don't know. Because I say interior designer, to me, that means both. But that's not quite how it's used all the time. Yeah, I think I've always had it without knowing it. I think I've always been aware that I grew up in a home and a family that was very wonderful and loving, and none of them were anything like me. And so it was very clear to me that the way that my mom and that my parents did the house didn't nourish me in the same way. I was nourished by their love, but I wasn't nourished by my surroundings, including the town I lived in.
Where did you grow up?
Greeley.
Oh, Greeley. Okay. You're a Colorado girl too.
I am. Yeah. Love Colorado. Greeley's not my thing. So yeah, like I think I was aware very, very early that what was around me wasn't feeding me. And then when I started realizing, oh my gosh, I can influence this, starting with moving away when I went to college, but then also being like, okay, I can influence this too. And I can influence, the pieces that are around me. And that completely changes how it feels.
Yeah.
We all know what it's like to walk into a friend's home and be like, oh, this feels so much like you. Or to walk into, maybe even like when you're house shopping and you walk into a place and you're like, oh, I don't know if I can live here. And it's just because of the feel that's happening, the building maybe, but also the stuff that the people have that you're like, this is not feeding me. It's not what I need. And it's all it is the design and the building and surroundings.
You're making me think about, like, we are conscious creators. We choose, right? We have that power to choose, and energy. Everything is energy. I write a lot about this. I speak a lot about this, how you get a vibe about any environment you walk into. You get a feeling about it. And one thing I love about what you do, I don't know if you're doing them anymore, but you used to like kind of go into different like bars and things like that, restaurants. Well, now we're in COVID, but like you would kind of rate the decor and like speak about what spoke to you, what was unique and cool. And I love that. Are you doing that anymore?
No, I haven't done it for a while. And I totally love that you remember it, because I really loved doing that. What's so magical about that is that we get to try stuff on. We're not spending money. We get to go out and say, oh, what's this bar look like? Or what's this restaurant look like? Or if I go into this, I love just right by me, the Ramble Hotel, which has Death and Co. is the bar. And anyway,
like all the cool hot places. So like, I need to like speak with you and get like a top 10 list. Like, like gotta check this place.
Yeah, and it's so based on the design. Like I want to go and sit somewhere that feels good to me.
Beautiful place.
And that might be different for everyone. But what's amazing is you get to go in and say, if you can think of the places you like going, start being really conscious about what those places have specifically that makes you feel good. And then you can start incorporating those into your house, but it's a way to try it out, right? Which is what I think is so cool about doing the videos and saying, oh, okay, they've got plaid chairs and they've got old wood this and like bringing that together feels cozy and masculine and whatever the thing is, right?
You hit the nail on the head. I think like that's why I love like Home Goods is like my store. I can browse, like I'm a good browser. I can just take my time, and I love just looking at what lights me up, and it's like my own little therapy, like going and checking out the sofas or the rugs or the decor, all the different things. Like that's one of the things that lights me up. Like my husband's like, go have fun at Home Goods. Like
it's your self-care.
It's funny. Like, and then he'll say, like, told my daughter, go with mom. And I'm like, are you sure? You want her to get into the
yeah, right. Yeah.
But no, it's like Yeah, bringing joy to our life and
And
looking.
one thing that's amazing really about exactly what you're talking about is the playing with the possibility. Because it's when we start thinking that there aren't possibilities that things start feeling big and heavy and like we can't change them. But going, even like you said, just walking through Home Goods and being like, what would it be like
Yeah,
trying them on, right? Like you probably talked about that with Lisa, but trying it on and being like, what would it be like if I was this kind of person who had
right.
that kind of lamp in my house, you know?
I know. I feel like you're one of my inspirations to like get out of my comfort zone. Well, I mean, it's like about our comfort zone, but like getting a little more edgy with like things, like,
Maybe like a little more unapologetic, or like, well, I
yeah,
like this
like if
weird thing, so I'm
wild
doing
and
it.
fun, why not go for it if it excites you?
Yeah, yeah,
Do you have any
exactly.
little like tips for people? I mean, do you encourage like your clients or people like browse through magazines and things, like clip out pictures of things that you like, or I don't know, are you into journaling? Do you have people write down things, how they want to feel?
That's a good question. I haven't had people journal, and I think partly what's interesting is with NLP, we start to be aware of if you're visual or auditory or kinesthetic, and how we learn and how we take in the world and how we understand it. And I think it helps to do the translation from like what we want and ourselves to a space if we're doing it visually. And so if there are words, I have like an intake process with clients, and we have a conversation. So that's words, and I get keywords from them.
Okay.
So I guess maybe I do start with words. I'm just kind of facilitating that. And then to make the board, if they're making their visual mantra board, I have some clients that's a part of what we do, and different
Right.
packages it's not.
Uh,
And so if they're doing that, I have them go through Pinterest and find pictures that make them feel those words, right?
yeah.
And then you have the pictures and you really have clarity around what that is. And then go find, like you said, go find pictures of spaces that make you feel that way. And what's amazing is just go pin and don't even think about it. And then go back and look at it, and you will see commonalities about what you're choosing. I mean, I have this new package I'm running with clients where it's kind of DIY, like I'm guiding a DIY. They're finding the things, but they know what they're looking for. And we really make it clear what their look is and how to pull it together. And what's amazing is they've made their board, and I'm looking through and I'm like, I see that you want, like, you've got 10 pictures with white paint, and you've got 15 pictures with antique rugs, and it's amazing what you can find, because and it seems overwhelming when we think of the pieces, but if you start to look at the patterns, it
Right.
makes it easier to start selecting pieces.
I love it. And one thing you're speaking to too is this is a form of art, form of creativity. And I have a whole chapter about that. Like the magic is in the mess. It's truly like where it's at. Get creative, get crafty with our life. We're always designing our life.
Totally.
Um,
And you know what? I have a client right now. She's a new client I just started with last week. And I went in, we walked around. She was like, I have tried this myself so many times. She was like, I think what's getting in my way is I feel like I don't understand the right way to do it. And I was like, there's not a right way, right? And she was like, I'm beginning to understand that, but I need you to keep reminding me. And I need you to help me understand my like right way in how she can play with it herself.
Permission to play.
Exactly. Yeah.
Permission. Just like, yeah, like we got to let loose. So we're 2021, right? We're in this new year. Any reflections, how you're feeling energetically? I mean, I'm feeling a big surge of just like show up unapologetically, live your big, bold life. Just do it. Be scared,
Yeah.
do it, go for it. Like try something new.
Yeah, because you never know what's coming, right? And the other thing I really thankfully got from last year is I think I was running so fast. It was like, I have to do this, I have to do that. Oh my gosh, I have, right? Like this is all the supposed to's that probably were reflected in my home somehow, right? Like where am I reflecting that to myself? And all of a sudden, COVID, and I'm like, oh, I have to slow down. And once I started slowing down because I had to, I was like, oh, I should be doing this more anyway. And just taking more time to be instead of going from thing to thing to thing, and just enjoying being myself. Like I have gotten to know myself in the last year. I mean, 10 times more than I did last year.
Let's doing more being. Yeah. It's like we were all
Exactly.
cocoon in 2020. Like we were all like hibernating. Now we're like, it's freedom. We're the butterfly.
Exactly.
The colorful
Exactly.
butterfly. What did you say? The colorful sheep.
Yeah, we can be the colorful sheep. 2021. You're the colorful sheep. Maybe that's the Chinese thing when you go get the placemats.
Need to create something like a sticker. like some colorful sheet. I think we need to create a
We should
t-shirt.
do that. Oh my God, I love it. I'm totally gonna look into that. That's fantastic.
Oh my God, I love it. Just, yeah, the other thing in your bio is be weird and drink whiskey. Is that what you're continuing this year?
Like I have some weird, I swear to you, I do believe in past lives and I believe I've had a few, but I swear to you, like this one, somehow I'm kind of an 80-year-old man because I love like stinky whiskey and cigars and like wool plaid. Like, I don't know. It like,
I love it.
me. Yeah. Yeah. I joke that my boyfriend, like if you walk in and the music is like poppy top 40, like that's my boyfriend who's 50. And like, you know, and then if it's like old man music where it's like 30s or 20s or like French music with accordions, that's mine.
Are there any bars with that kind of atmosphere that you go to?
Yes, totally. Death and Co. What's the one? It's actually the one I did for the, it would be on my YouTube. Is it Harry's? It's in the base of another hotel and it feels like that. The other one that's really cool, it's that kind of a feel, but it's a lot more feminine, I think, but it's beautiful and eclectic, is called Room for Millie. And they're closed right now. So they like temporarily because they don't have outside space.
What was the first one you mentioned?
Death and Co.
Death and Co. Okay.
It's on 25th and Larimer on the corner. It's in the Rainbow Hotel. It's beautiful.
We can do a lot of different talks on a lot of different subjects. Probably detouring too much right now.
No, we totally could.
You're like the whiskey girl. My husband's a whiskey drinker too. So, oh my gosh. So people can find you. Tell them how to connect with you.
To my website is mandystraight.com, straight ahead.
I'll link it in
the
notes.
Perfect. And I am on Instagram. I think it's Mandy. You can link that too. I always forget if it's a hyphen or an underscore. It's Mandy. I think it's Mandy hyphen straight.
Great. If you just search name to show up, but Mandy.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sort of in the middle of creating some new things. You know, here's the really exciting thing that I would love to share is that I have that DIY package that I have. I've worked with 3 new clients on it. It's going so well, and it really pairs. I think it's so important to me that everyone feels like design is approachable. And so I'm not in design to be like, well, I want to just make this very exclusive something. I don't care about that. I want to figure out how you make a space that feels like you. Right. And so this DIY program helps people figure out how they can do it on their own. Because I know so many people over the years have been like, I feel like I could do this. I just don't know what I'm looking for. And this helps them do that. So it's 5 sessions. It's very specific what we're doing in each session. Right now, I'm doing it for $900 for all 5 sessions. It won't be that forever. We do the whole thing on Zoom, and the 900 includes 1 room, but it'll be you'll know the layout, you'll know exactly what sizing, colors, types of things you're looking for. If we wanted to do other rooms as an add-on, it wouldn't be another 900 because we've already done the work at the beginning to figure out what your look is. So it's wonderful, and we're walking through so you know how to do it yourself.
Cool. Thanks for sharing. Well, when things open up more, it'd be fun to get together with you.
Yeah, I would love that.
Girl gatherings, we're in so many different similar groups that, you know.
Yeah, I think that should be like thing number 1 when things open up, is like we need to get the ladies back together.
Well, thank you. I might have to go get some like blue streaks in my hair, get inspired from you.
I do love, you know what's so funny? It's interesting that I'm just randomly wearing this color today, but after I dyed my hair blue, I was like, wow, that's apparently all I needed. And I pretty much wear black all the time. I mean, I still have my fun shoes, but I'm like,
right? That's your
that's all I needed, is like, I just needed some blue hair and then I was fine.
Love it. Well, you look beautiful.
All right, good to see you.
Joining me. Yeah, this is so much fun. I can't wait to get this out and share this with everybody. So, all right. And if anybody has any further questions, reach out to me at IVF Manifesting a Miracle. I'm here for personalized support. I do one-on-one coaching right now, but I'm looking to offer more group opportunities and here for you to support you on this fertility journey. So don't be afraid to reach out, and Hold On Baby is on Amazon. So,
and I have one more thing I didn't think about. Can I mention it?
Sure.
So the neuroplasticity work that I do with NLP, whether it's myself or I'm in a collective called Mobile Lighthouse, and their website is mobilelighthousellc.com. And the whole point of it is to make NLP be affordable and approachable. There are multiple coaches. You could find someone that you like, and really it can help that with that whole manifesting, getting in the mindset and making it automatic for your unconscious brain to do that. So there are so many ways we can do it. I think they're still offering, you might still be offering free sessions right now, free 20 minutes, but they also have some packages available. So
Thanks, girl. All right. Lots of love to everybody. Bye.